Hello there. Welcome to the video. My name is Einav Avni. I'm an energy healer and alignment coach. And this video is all about how, do's and don't do's if you are caring for people with chronic conditions or cancers. I'm going to use this term, chronic conditions, as an umbrella term for both situations. This video is a little bit complex to make, or even to view, I guess, because there can be so many different conditions and situations and time frames and all of that of the person that is your person basically and what they're going through. But in this video I hope to just kind of bring an outsider view of what going through chronic pains and cancers, what it can be like, and how you as the carer can tune in a little bit more to the situation and how you can maybe help even better than before. Why am I qualified to talk about this is really because as an energy healer and alignment coach, I work with people with chronic conditions and cancers all the time. In the alignment part that I bring to the conversation, this is really coming from my belief that chronic conditions and cancers, they come as a message from the body after there was an emotional event or trauma that we were not able to process, or we were not able to make sense out of that, or basically looked at it as if this was something that was happening to us, looking at it from a structural, physical point of view. And in the alignment coaching that I do, I help people see that actually there was fear, there was feeling of limitations and compromises. Maybe really, like I said, you were feeling that it was done to you and not able to see that actually this was in a spiritual kind of process. It was done for you to help move you along into something else. So people suffering from chronic conditions and cancers, a lot of the time they are just dealing with the symptoms. They are very much stuck in what the doctors are saying, or looking at research and finding out what has already been done, or very much being in that realm of I'm ill and let's see how I can be fixed. So looking for cure. And what I'm doing with the with the alignment coaching is really helping you to heal. So I don't want just to fix the problem. I want you to grow in all directions, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and move into that next version of yourself where you are back into alignment and back into who you are, who you're meant to be, and all of that. With the energy healing that I do, I use the emotion code, body code, and belief code to help clear trapped emotions and stresses from your energy field. So the combination of this work is super profound, very deep, and it's teaching you how to heal yourself, as well as helping you to heal, like I say, with the energy clearing. I want to make something very clear. Suffering from chronic conditions and cancer, even though I believe come from an emotional event, has an emotional root cause, I am not saying that this is something that someone has consciously decided to have. So people suffering from chronic conditions, even if they are invisible conditions, they didn't make a choice. It happened. They started feeling in this way, and it depends again on the stage of the illness that they're at, or or whatever. Sometimes they will still be very much in that shock of the condition, and later on, of course, maybe they will start seeing that there is that relevance of what I'm saying, that there is an emotional root cause, and now let's look at the emotions and how to grow from that. Back to the point, people suffering from chronic conditions and cancers did not make a conscious decision to get the illness or the condition. We can't say it's in your head, even if it is coming from an emotional stressor. It's not in the head. The pain and the conditions and what they're feeling is 100% real. And this is maybe the number one do is believe. You have to believe them when they're saying that they're not feeling well, or that this or that is happening in their bodies, because they are the one going through this and they're not lying. I can't, of course, promise you that they're not lying, but for me, 99.9%, there is no lying. This is really how they're feeling. And the added star is that they are having to go through this and now they also have to convince you of how they're feeling. So if you're caring for someone, you have to trust and believe and treat them like they are actually telling you the truth, and they're actually going through that. Because if they feel that you don't believe them, now you are creating an added layer of mistrust. Now they have to rebel against you in order to heal. And sometimes just you not believing them or not being on their team is creating another layer through which they have to go through in order to heal. So it's not helpful, is what I'm trying to say. People going through chronic conditions are the main character in this movie. They are the ones that get up in the morning and have to make this, decision for themselves. How do I feel today? How is my pain level? Am I able to get out of bed? Am I able to make it to work? What can I do today? So they themselves are going through this. You, as the carer, you're in the support role. You're not the main character. But I want to make sure that you understand that I am totally supporting you as the carer, because I know it is so challenging to be there for someone and noticing how much the discomfort that they're going through, and the pain and the frustrations and the sadness and the sometimes wanting to give up. So you are also your main character in your movie, but really you're taking second seat, because it's more about them. But if we shine that light on you, I absolutely appreciate the challenges that you're going through, and how you just want them to heal. You just want to say, please just come out of it. And especially, I'm sure that you yourself are doing a lot of research and reading up on stuff and talking to people, and maybe you are in support groups. So you are doing a lot, but you're not really able to bring it to the person, because sometimes they're not in the energy to receive what you're saying. So another do is really to have a conversation with your person on a time when things are a little bit better, when they're open to having this kind of conversation. So have the conversation and see, how can I actually support you? What do you need from me? Sometimes it will be, bring me tea in the morning and leave me alone. And sometimes it will be, please do more research. Please go ahead and talk to different practitioners and find support. Or, every person has their own preference of how they want to be supported. So a do is consult them and, respect their boundaries. And a don't do is basically, don't just assume that because you are caring for them, you can make decisions for them. You can't. It has to be their decision, because if they haven't decided, it's not going to work. A lot of the time in my videos and conversations and stuff, I really look at healing as losing weight in terms of the journey, because unless you make the decision that you're ready to heal, unless you make the decision that you're ready to lose weight, you won't be able to do it. It will be fruitless, futile. It's not going to work. So even if you're looking at your person and thinking, you haven't made the decision to heal, still it's not your decision. It's only theirs. And you can just be there for them for when they make the decision to heal. And again, I want to make sure that you understand that it's not a decision not to heal, but the decision to heal is a much deeper one, because this means to address fears and actually I'm just going to go with the word fears, but it's such deep fears, because the fear of change and the fear in this case of healing really requires them to be able to see that where they are at the moment is not where they can stay, and where they are going to go, even if it's very scary because it's an unknown, is better than where they are at the moment. So this is absolutely a journey that they have to go through, and you just have to be there for them for when they do. I just mentioned a little bit about the research and approaching other practitioners and so on. Sometimes people come to me and they say, I am calling on behalf of, my person that is suffering from chronic conditions. Can you help? Now, I can. Of course I can. That's what I do. but I can only help either way with the healing or the coaching if the person gives me permission. Now, sometimes the person will have believed that they tried everything, and so they will be in a very fed up kind of mood, and they will say, no, I don't want to try anything anymore. I don't want to have my hopes built up and then have another disappointment. So it's really important that, again, you have that conversation with them and you help them see that it's really about trying and trusting that there's still magic can still happen in the world. And whether it's me or some other practitioners, we are all different to one another. We all bring to the table different things. So even if you believe that you've tried everything, you probably haven't. So if someone comes to me and say, oh, can you walk with my person? I would say you have to get the permission first. And also you don't have to explain to them what the modalities that I use are. You can really just position it as, me sending them healing energies and healing vibes. Because when you start explaining to people what the emotion code, body code, and belief codes are, you have to experience you really have to experience it to see how profound the changes can be. But if someone is not ready for it, then it's pointless to explain all of that, because it just adds to the fears. So when I walk with people, I can walk people, over Zoom or whatever, on the computer. Of course, I walk with people face to face as well, but mostly I walk on people with Zoom, or I walk on people's behalf. So they just give me permission. I connect with their subconscious mind, and then I do the session. Later on, I give you the notes of what I found. So what I'm trying to say is that for you as the carer to do the research and finding things, you will find it very easy to believe that things are possible, because you haven't experienced what the person suffering is experiencing. But you have to recognize that for them, there are many hurdles, and sometimes, like I said, they will be very fed up. I was reading a book by Alan Gordon. If you are into the mind-body connection, you will probably have heard of him. He wrote a fantastic book called The Way Out. And he's saying that he was suffering from chronic back pain, and his back pain was so bad that, sometimes he would really not even be able to get off the floor or the bed or wherever he was lying. And he said that one day his mum bought him a book about the mind-body connection, and he just threw it across the room and basically said, yes, it can work for them, but it's never going to work for me. And this is a belief that we are dealing with here. So people will hear about other people healing, and then because they've tried so many things and because they've given so many things a chance that haven't worked, they will now believe that they are beyond healing, beyond help and all that. So you as the carer have to respect that and find a way to have these kind of conversations with basically... You will have to find out that when is the right time to bring all of these things up. But I think it is very helpful that you are researching and finding out what is possible, because you are basically more open to finding out about things than the person themselves most of the time. So another don't do is very important, and I think it's kind of all together. It's really about, don't nag the people to get out of bed, to change the diet, to make some movements, to try this, to try that, to talk to this, to talk to that. This is not helpful. It has to be on their terms. You can suggest, you can make recommendations, but only when you are noticing that they are in the right vibrations and energy to receive your communication. Otherwise, you are just adding to it. It's very important that I mentioned that in my world, I very much believe in the mind-body connection. I mean, I know it's the truth. If it's in your mind, it's in your body. Your body becomes ill when your mind, I use interchangeable words here, but But your body is trying to give you a message. You came here on a soul journey, and you are here to do something. Even just being who you are, not necessarily fulfilling purposes of, whatever. You came here for a reason. And what happens if the body is recognizing that you are not doing it, if you're too much stuck in fears and limitations, and maybe still stuck in stressors and traumas from the past, it will say, listen, you are not doing what you came here to do. And if you're not listening to me as I'm giving you the messages, I'm going to have to give you a message that, will be a little bit more, will weigh a little bit more. And so the pain and the conditions and so on, this is the message. A lot of the time when I speak with people, that thrive after cancer, they tell me that cancer was the best gift that they got, because it really helped them to get back to who they really are, get back into alignment, get back into this harmony and feeling they know who they are. So no more fears, no more limitations. But for a person to be able to say that, they have to go through this journey. Sorry, fruit flies. They have to go through this journey. They have to see how they ended up in this state and stage, and what they can do now. When I work with people, I can see that when they get back into alignment, they heal. Not immediately, and not, it's a journey, right? But I was working with someone who had psoriasis since she was 8. I was working with her when she was 30-something. Doctor says you can't heal psoriasis, and yet after 8 sessions, there was no more psoriasis. Why? Because she understood the reasons why the psoriasis came, and she understood how to reclaim herself. So when she learned the lesson, the illness or the conditions or whatever you want to call it didn't need to be there anymore. So I am simplifying, but it is requiring the person going through this to really make that decision that they are not holding on to anything, that they are ready to let go, they are ready to become who they're really meant to become, and let go of fears, limitations, compromises, and so on. Now, you as the carer, sometimes you are also a part of it. And so when you adding to the, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, and the frustrations and the nagging and all of that, you're not helping, even though you're probably looking after them and, coming home and making dinners and doing all of these things that a carer does. So I guess I'm just trying to say that there needs to be a conversation of how can I support you? What do you need from me? What can I do to help you heal? Is it okay for me to go out and do research? Is it okay for me to maybe start making food that is a little bit more rich in nutrients and the good stuff rather than processed foods? There's a lot of room for conversation, so that's probably the number one do. What else did I want to say? I want to speak a little bit about cancer, because cancer, when people hear about cancer, they immediately think about dying. And a while ago, it was last year now, that I did a summit on how to heal cancer naturally. If you want the summit, I will link it in the description. It's also available on my website to purchase. £37 for 45 speakers. So you get a lot of knowledge and a lot of inspiration from the conversations that I had. But what I learned absolutely from cancer, from talking about cancer and from helping people heal from cancer, is that even though cancer, we all have cancerous cells in our bodies, cancer needs something to trigger it to become active. And in all of the senses, in all of these things that needs to happen, emotional events are 100% part of that. You will not see someone that is just, showing up, have an environment of toxins and pathogens and so on, but don't also have some stressors in their lives. So the number one thing is stressors, traumas, emotional events that happen that we didn't know how to process. That's absolutely number one. Other than that, yes, there's all these, diets, processed foods, and then, like I said, toxins, pathogens, pollutions, stuff like that. So there's different things that come together to activate the cancer. But really, what I see is that you can reverse cancer. You can heal yourself naturally. Now, I'm not saying don't do chemo, don't do radiations. I'm not positioned to say anything, right? I'm not a doctor. But I've seen this happen so many times with cancers, with chronic conditions, that when you understand the emotional root cause, when you understand what it is that you need to do in order to get back into your true self, you heal. Now, with cancer, it's so important that you're noticing your attitude. Now you're being as the person suffering, not necessarily the person supporting, because again, you're in a supporting role. I was walking with someone who had cancer, and after some conversation, I was like, she gave up. I could feel it. She just gave up. I can't do anything to help anymore if she's given up. So it's the same thing for you as the supporter. Even if you really want them to stay alive and to keep on going and to get back to how things were, it's not about you, because you are in the supporting journey and they are in the going through the journey. So it's all about their belief system. It's all about their strength and what they want for themselves and what limitations they have in place. But for you as the person supporting, I do invite you to finding out, talking to people that have the same kind of cancer and how they've healed. I invite you to look at the summit that I've mentioned, because there are people there that really help you to, they talk about how you can heal with changing your diet, and they talk about how you can change by understanding your emotions. That's one of my talks there. You can talk with someone who uses AI to figure out what it is that is out of alignment, physical alignment in your body, that now you can rebuild. There's people helping you to understand how calming or energizing your nervous system will help you heal. So there's so many different things to do. But if your belief, or the people suffering, their belief is that there's nothing to be done, then believe me, there will be nothing to be done. So you have the very fragile job here of listening to what they want, finding a way how to support them, and also slowly introducing new ideas, but only when it feels right. Because if someone believes that cancer means dying, it would be very hard for you to say, well, if you listen to your emotions, or if you processed your fears, you'll be able to heal. They are maybe not ready to hear you. So how do you bridge that? How do you plant a seed? How do you help them come into a new mindset? It's not easy. I can completely understand that, and I know that you in yourself are going through a journey, and you want to support them, and you want them to be well, and you want to have a normal kind of life where you can say, hey, we're going to go to see a movie tomorrow and everyone is going together. Yet it's not about you. And so part of your letting go journey is to see that they're the one going through this, and with no attachments, you are there to support in a way that is meaningful and needed for them. And in the way that you need support is also finding support groups. You can come and do coaching as well, or energy healing with me, for example, because I can help you to see where you are operating from attachments and fears, and how you can actually let them do their journey. I was walking with someone, and again, she was saying how other people's influence was very much about doing chemo, doing all of these things that she didn't want to do. And yet now, as she was on her healing journey, she also needed to look after the people that were supposed to support her, because they were so scared. So you see, it is a very fragile kind of situation, and you as the person supporting, you have to listen and you have to respect what it is that they're going through, and find how you can help in a way that is helpful and not creating more stress and resentment and challenges. So if I want to summarize kind of the do's and don't do's that I talked about, don't do is don't show frustration, don't roll your eyes, don't mistrust the situation, and don't nag to do things when you can see that they're not ready for it. Also, don't just disconnect, because they're definitely needing you. They definitely need your support. So the number one do is find a way to how you can help. What is the boundaries? How to tell if they're suffering and they need space versus when they're suffering and they need comforting. There's so much benefit in having conversations. Do continue to do research and finding practitioners and inspiration for natural healing, but don't shove it down their throat. Find a way to approach that and find that path to show them that you are completely on their side, and you are here for them, to support them, whatever what. And also, sometimes you will notice that they're ready to go. And when I say ready to go, I'm sorry, I know this is so challenging, but sometimes this is part of their journey, to just, be sick, and because they'll probably have to come back here in another life journey, soul journey, and, find a way to basically do things differently. So again, it's not about you and your beliefs. It's all about them and what feels right for them and how they are choosing to go through this journey. I hope this helps. I hope this brings up some ideas, or maybe helps you to reflect a little bit more about how you supporting your person. And if you want to have a conversation, then really please do get in touch. You can find all my contact information in the show notes, and also my website, untangledhealing.com. Let's have a conversation. I can maybe help you. Maybe I can help your person if they agree to it. Thank you so much for being here. I am Einav Avni, an energy healer and alignment coach, and I really believe in natural healing, and together we can do it. Let's just have this conversation. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.